And this battle was actually from an RTK New Player Conquest Mode tournament a while back, so let's have a look at the army build here. Now for the Chaos Dwarfs here, other than the expensive single entity, you gotta have some Goblin Laborers to screen off enemy units and some Chaos Dwarf Warriors to give them a more solid backbone in melee. The single entities took up all the money, so there's only some chaff guarding the backline with more Goblin Laborers and Orc Laborers for even more bodies, and one single Inferno God with Fire Glaives for that fire support, just to pick off enemy monsters and single entities. In disguise, the Chaos Dwarfs staple really, double Flying Cows, the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire with only Burning Head, and the Demon Smith Sorcerer of Death with only Reforge, no spells at all. As for the Khorne army here, going with a monstrous rush for sure. Marauders of Khorne in the front line here, and then a ton of Minotaurs and Blood Beast. So just really trying to rush down the enemy infantry formations with all that armor-piercing monsters, and with impressive melee damage output as well. There's one Hellforge Bellowers to basically nuke enemy infantry formations with those volley shot vortex damage, and then there's Skull Taker leading the army with only 2 abilities and items, the Slayer Sword and the Bloody Onslaught to debuff enemy units and get a little bit more damage boost. That's basically it for the army builds on both sides. Now let's get the show on the road. Well, Chaos Dwarfs has the heavier artillery, looks like Khorne managed to shoot first. A shot onto the Goblin Laborers, doing some minor damage. Well, minor in terms of value, but definitely substantial damage for the Goblin Laborers themselves, knocking out around 20% of their HP. I'm curious why the Demon's Tongue and Dreadquake mortar hasn't fired yet, because shooting at the Marauders would be nice before they are being eventually dragged into melee combat. Another shot from the Hellforge Bellower, chipping away more health from the Chaos Dwarf formations. They're down to 3/4 of HP, and on the far side, the double Flying Cows returning the favor. Double breath attacks onto the Blood Beasts of Khorne, taking roughly 1/4 of their HP as well. Now Minotaurs comes charging in, trying to go after the Dreadquake mortar, but a monstrous impact right in their face, and the flamethrower from the Demon's Tongue, burning through 1/4 of their HP, and they're now down to 6,000% HP, plus some Goblin Laborers piling in to support the Dreadquake mortar. More Minotaurs are coming in from the far side, Marauders saturating in, Skull Taker himself getting involved in this combat. The Dreadquake mortar might have devastated those Minotaurs in range, but melee is the domain of Khorne. All the armor-piercing damage dismantling this artillery piece, and the Dreadquake mortar is down to half health. Double Sorcerer Prophet seeing the Dreadquake mortar is in danger, diving in with the second Flying Cow as well, the Demon Smith Sorcerer on the Great Taurus, trying to bail out the pinned Dreadquake mortar. On the far side, infantry clashing against each other, but we don't have a lot of great engagements for the Chaos Dwarf so far. Marauders combined with the armor piercing of the Blood Beasts or Minotaurs would be enough to beat down the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but the most important thing is that the single entity survives and can do damage, as the Dreadquake mortar continues to fire into enemy infantry, well, not the Dreadquake but the Demon's Tongue's flamethrowers. The Blood Beast in the vicinity as well being burned by the flamethrower that burnt leadership debuff by -8. Drop their leadership down to routing territory, and the Chaos Dwarf Warriors and the Goblin Laborers are able to push them back with the anti-large help of the Inferno Gods with Fire Glaives. Demon's Tongue continues to fire this time, probably doing a bit more friendly fire. The monstrous impact hitting their own Chaos Dwarf troops and doing some minor damage to the Marauders of Khorne. The Sorcerer Prophet's Great Taurus is now being pinned down in melee by some very healthy Minotaurs. This is some cow-on-cow violence between the Flying Cow and Cow people, but them piling onto the Flying Cow also means they are bunched up, and that makes a perfect target for the Demon's Tongue to turn around and launch a shot right into the middle of their formations, plus the flamethrower attack of the Demon's Tongue. That's basically 1/3 of their HP gone from that missile combo, and on top of that, the monstrous impact continues to do damage to all the Minotaur models in the vicinity. And then it is the 1-2 punch. First the missile attacks, and then follow up with a rear charge, and the Minotaurs gone from almost full health to now almost nothing left in their HP bar. And don't forget, the Great Taurus have been delivering melee blows, taking chunks of HP off of these Minotaurs as well. And at this point, seems like the infantry has mostly collapsed for the Chaos Dwarves. It is now the Marauders and the Blood Beasts flooding in, trying to just run down the rest of the enemy infantry on the far side there. The Fire Glaives still getting tangled up by some Blood Beasts of Khorne, though they should be able to free themselves up soon by beating the Blood Beasts in melee. More point-blank shots from the Dreadquake mortar, this time basically directly firing onto itself, and the monstrous impact plus the explosion damage managed to break off the Minotaurs. And of course, don't forget about the Demon Smith Sorcerer providing some melee assistance. In disguise though, the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire is almost on the verge of death, so he does not want to rejoin any melee fights, especially when there are Minos nearby. Another point-blank Dreadquake mortar shooting into itself, doing even more damage onto the Minotaurs of Khorne, and the monster's impact continues to knock away HP from nearby enemy units. So the Minotaurs are getting lower and lower, being constantly attacked by two powerful single entities and getting shot by the Dreadquake. Hellforge Bellowers have just been shooting the whole time, getting roughly 1000 gold worth of damage value, but the problem is that there's not a lot of valuable infantry on the Chaos Dwarf side, so the Skull Cannon has very limited targets to choose from. One more shot from the Demon's Tongue Dreadquake mortar, but not a lot of units nearby to get affected by the monstrous impact, so not a whole lot of value from that shot. But Skull Taker is now being pinned between a rock and a hard place. The Flying Cow, the Demon Smith Sorcerer on the Great Taurus, plus the Great Demon Tongue. They're just slowly humping Skull Taker, taking a few hundred HP off here and there. They're not doing it for free though, because the Dreadquake mortar is stuck on the Minotaurs and Skull Taker, now firing his final shot as they are running out of HP, being attacked by a ton of armor piercing. The Minotaurs hacking it with the great axes, the Blood Beast piling in, even juiced up by that Horn of Khorne earlier as well. Down goes the Dreadquake train, and leaving only the Flying Cow in a fight, who are doing some really good damage to the Skull Taker, but more Blood Beasts and Minotaurs piling in, trying to trap them down by a nice burning head from the Sorcerer Prophet, quickly breaking the backs of all these Blood Beasts and Minotaurs, using that burnt leadership effect to its advantage. The Blood Beasts and Minotaurs are already pretty tattered, and that was just enough to put them into routing territory. Even Skull Taker is now crumbling. As usual, the demonic instability process is hard to reverse, and there goes Skull Taker, there goes the Lord of Khorne. Now overall on the battlefield, Khorne might still have a chance to win it, but a lot of their units are just quickly breaking from the death of their lord. That means these Marauders will be chased off by the nearby Chaos Dwarf warriors, and then these Marauders here will soon also be routed by the sheer terror of the two Great Tauruses. On the far side, the Hellforge Bellower is trying to grind through enemy infantry. Maybe it can still carry with its missiles and Gorfy's healing. The Sorcerer Prophet of Fire has to be careful though. He is running low on HP, trying to beat back these Blood Beasts. He succeeded, but I'm not sure if it's worth the cost of the Chaos Dwarf Lord going down. Though the Marauders themselves have been terrified. Now the double Flying Cows tries to go for something else. Perhaps the Hellforge Bellowers would be a good target, now that it is just endlessly grinding through enemy infantry with the Vortex damage and also its anti-infantry bonus, its heavy armor, and its Gorfy's healing. Now the Sorcerer Prophet is diving down, trying to snipe out the Hellforge Bellower, but the Regiment of Renowned Skull Cannon just took the damage like a champ and just keep hitting the infantry in front of him. The infantry routing actually caused a chain rout that took out the Sorcerer Prophet as well. A point-blank shot from the Hellforge Bellower, but for some reason didn't do much damage. Alright, the Sorcerer Prophet on Flying Cow has fire resistance and missile resistance, so that absorbed a lot of damage. We have the Demon Smith Sorcerer still being very healthy, very mobile, able to just run down the enemy regroup units and just break off the backs of these Blood Beasts, shatter the Marauders, and it is down to the Hellforge Bellowers trying to carry the game. If the Hellforge Bellower can land all its volleys onto the Sorcerer Prophet for fire, maybe it can still snipe out the Sorcerer Prophet despite the resistances. But there's still a very healthy unit of Demon Smith Sorcerer of Death, well, of Reforge ability, still remaining on the battlefield. It is not a dedicated fighter, but the Great Taurus is still a powerful armor-piercing mount that can breach the armor defenses of the Hellforge Bellowers, and combined with some fire weakness it can apply with his hand grenade launcher, it is definitely taking down this Khorne artillery, and it is taking it down fast. You can see it is quickly taking a bunch of damage. A one final Hail Mary here. Relentless Rage, tier 2 Khorne ability, trying to keep the Hellforge Bellowers in the fight, but it is quickly fading away. Balance of power hits army losses, and that shall be victory for the Chaos Dwarves. They might have lost their Dreadquake mortar, Demon's Tongue train, but they are still victorious in the end. GG to Pickle Barrel and Pizzu here on this new player tournament. As for the army performances, we can see that the Chaos Dwarf infantry didn't really do much work. One of the Chaos Dwarf warriors earned back their own value, actually 2 of them. But that's about it. Not even the Fire Glaives got much value out of the fight, because the main staying power of the Chaos Dwarfs, as usual, are the single entities here, earning back some solid value, especially that Demon's Tongue, dropping those point-blank, monstrous, impactful shots onto nearby infantry and monstrous infantry, obliterating some of those Minotaurs with the help of the flamethrower of the Demon's Tongue as well, just doing some really good damage with their point-blank shots firing on their own position. I mean, of course, the Demon Smith Saucer, being the relatively healthy flying cow in the end, basically carried the late game when the two other single entities are out of commission. As for the Khorne army here, Skulltaker and the Minos, trying to do a lot of work against the Dreadquake mortar, the only problem is that the Dreadquake mortar has access to a bunch of reforged healing, and with the massive health pool plus the percentage healing, there's a lot of HP for them to cut through. So despite them having some solid damage value and the Hellforged Bellowers getting some decent value as well, shooting up the enemy infantry and grinding through them, there's just not enough units in the end to take down the double single entities, the double flying cows that remain on the battlefield, as the Blood Beasts themselves had taken way too much attrition damage throughout the course of battle, duking out against the enemy infantry. And yeah, that is gonna be it for today. I hope you'll enjoy this little bit of a Dreadquake mortar melee action. For some reason, it is actually decent in this melee fight against the Minotaurs. And I'll see you all in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.